Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we are diving into something absolutely wild. We're taking a completely bizarre, totally ridiculous historical event, and we're going to deconstruct it through a very specific modern lens, the strict mechanics of a high-retention script playbook. We're going to see exactly how an expert scriptwriter engineers a viral story about a literal war against birds, turning a weird footnote from the past into an absolute masterclass in digital storytelling. To see how this works, we'll break the script down into 4 distinct acts today: anatomy of a viral hook, the post-World War I Emu invasion, the chaotic machine gun battle, and finally, the hilarious surrender. So here's the big, completely absurd, yet 100% real question we're looking at today. How on earth do you script a military losing a war to birds? And more importantly, how do you script it so that a fast-paced, modern, digital audience absolutely can't look away? Well, the source material we're analyzing gives us the exact blueprint for pulling off this kind of storytelling magic.
Okay, let's dive right into this. To make this level of absurdity work for digital audiences, think channels like Crayon Capital, the execution rules are just brutal. Every single scene is capped at a strict 6 to 8 second pacing. The voiceover dialogue has to be exactly proportional, so we're talking about 20 to 25 punchy, rhythmic words per scene. And visually, the script relies heavily on cinematic, vintage AI prompts to bring it all to life. It's a rigid, highly calculated formula designed to keep viewers completely glued to the screen.
To actually manage that level of creative precision, the script formats everything into a really strict 4-column table. You've got your timestamp, your scene and mood description, the voiceover script itself, and the detailed AI generation prompt. Every single second, from the audio to the visuals, is meticulously planned out and locked into this grid before production even starts. You leave literally nothing to chance when you're working with pacing this fast. All right, Act 1, Anatomy of a Viral Hook, covering the crucial window from 0 to 8 seconds. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds. The whole script is engineered as a hyper-fast, 1-minute storytelling asset. You've got the hook hitting hard in those first 8 seconds. Then the invasion narrative takes over until 24 seconds. The climax, the battle, runs right up to 48 seconds, and those final 12 seconds are completely dedicated to the outro. It's a structural map where every second carries serious weight. Right out of the gate, that opening hook is heavily dictated. The script demands immediate shots of heavy military trucks and weapons, right? Establishing this super serious, grim tone. And then, boom, it tells the creator to just drop the bomb on the audience. The enemy is literally a bunch of birds, and the fully armed army actually lost. It's an instant, jarring contrast designed to completely shock the viewer in just 8 seconds. Moving on to Act 2, the post-WW1 Emu invasion, taking us from 8 seconds to 24 seconds. Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer, overwhelming scale of the problem. 20,000. That is the number of giant emu birds the script drops into the narrative to explain the massive threat facing the country. The backstory is devastatingly simple, but so effective for moving the story forward. Right after World War I, these 20,000 giant emu birds just swarmed Australian farms. And they didn't just wander around. They essentially destroyed everything in their path. It created an agricultural crisis so severe that the actual military was forced to step in. It perfectly sets up our central, ridiculous conflict. Act 3, the chaotic machine gun battle. This runs from 24 seconds to 48 seconds. Now we hit the dramatic climax. The framework demands this incredible visual contrast to really dial up the chaos. Picture this: heavily armed soldiers firing thousands upon thousands of rounds from heavy Lewis machine guns, going up against a completely wild, frenetic swarm of 20,000 giant birds. It's the absolute pinnacle of 1930s military might pitted against relentless nature. But how do you characterize these birds to make the battle actually engaging? Well, the script explicitly defines them as guerrilla warriors. The source material treats them as strategic combatants, literally running purposefully to jam the soldiers' machine guns. They are elevated from just being an agricultural nuisance to a legitimate, highly tactical enemy force. And my favorite part? The witty visual directives. To get the video generation tools to create the exact right visuals, the script relies on some highly descriptive wording. It literally tells the prompt that the bird should be dodging them like Matrix. I mean, it's a hilarious way to force the AI to understand exactly how ridiculous and nimble this evasion needs to feel for the viewer. To pull off that specific look with tools like Google VO, the prompts have to be incredibly precise. We're talking 1930s Australian outback deserts. The overall mood has to capture this dramatic, yet slightly comedic vintage aesthetic, and the scene needs to be densely packed with those chaotic swarms of birds. It's just a perfect blend of a historical setting and completely absurd action. Finally, Act 4, the hilarious surrender, taking us through the final stretch up to the 1-minute mark. And this brilliantly illustrates how an expert creator wraps up a higher attention script. Step 1 is the narrative payoff. You show the hilarious, undeniable surrender of the military to a flock of birds. But Step 2 is the mechanical payoff. You immediately transition into a question designed to get the viewer to loop the video or subscribe to the channel. It's a seamless jump from a historical climax directly into audience engagement, all in just 12 seconds.
So, here's the thought I want to leave you with today. What happens when ultra-strict digital pacing rules meet pure historical absurdity? The Great Emu War isn't just a bizarre 1930s footnote anymore. Through this analytical lens, it's a masterclass in modern storytelling mechanics. It really makes you wonder, what other strange, unbelievable historical events could be perfectly engineered into a 60-second viral loop?